Live from Carver-Hawkeye Arena, young and old alike anticipating a wide-open game of up-tempo offense and pressure defense. This game features two players ranked in the Sporting News College Basketball Preview Edition as players to watch, and both are guards. For the Hawkeyes, it's Kent McCausland. He led the country in three-point percentage last year at 52%. He's at 50% this year. Long Island University's Charles Jones paced the country in scoring, averaging better than 30 points a game. Get ready for fireworks as Iowa hosts Long Island. Live from Carver-Hawkeye Arena, it's time for Big Ten basketball. The 16th-ranked Hawkeyes go against the Blackbirds from Long Island University. Good evening, everyone. With Matt McCausland, this is Larry Morgan. Well, on Wednesday night, Long Island grabbed national attention, shattered 3 NCAA records in the process as they blew away a Division III opponent.
It caught national attention, obviously caught the Iowa attention, too. When you look at the numbers, steals a national record, field goal attempts, and you can imagine 179 points. We haven't seen scoring like this since Loyola Marymount days.
And, of course, leading the way, Charles Jones, and he is some offensive machine.
How often, Larry, do we get to talk about somebody that averages 41 points a game? And then you look at his specifics, 53 points in one game, but he had 10 assists as well. Potentially a point guard in the NBA and a lottery pick.
Long Island led the country in scoring last year. What does Iowa have to do to slow him down tonight?
Tom Davis will want to take away the passing lanes on the fast break. But Long Island has players that like to come down, take it off the dribble, and shoot the three. So it might be the inside game that's going to stop all of that. And you've got a player that can help do that in Guy Rucker. Offensively, strong inside. Defensively, he can stop them as well.
Well, Guy Rucker certainly does have to be a big factor inside for the Iowa Hawkeyes. He's not the only one, though, because Ryan Bowen needs to contribute also. You know Bowen. You know how well he plays at both ends of the floor. The Hawkeyes will need his defense and his rebounding tonight. The starting lineups are next. We are back at Carver-Hawkeye Arena, where Iowa has won 30 of its last 33. Let's take a look at the new Raptor Herbicide starting lineups. For the visitors from Long Island playing their 5th game, they have won 2 and they've lost 2. Now, Jones not the only big scorer because both Parker and Campbell average more than 20 points a game. For the Hawkeyes, Tom Davis says the Blackbirds can disrupt you, so he's going to go with some experience, and Ryan Lersman gets the starting call at the point. The Hawkeyes in Long Island prepare to do battle. Iowa has won both of their outings this year, but they have not played for a week from Friday. So it's the Hawkeyes in Long Island getting ready to square off. This should be a most entertaining game. You're watching Big Ten basketball from ESPN+. Carver-Hawkeye Arena literally bursting with anticipation over this showdown between Long Island and Iowa. Ray Haskins, the head coach at Long Island. He was the New York Metro Coach of the Year last season. And on the bench for the Iowa Hawkeyes is Tom Davis. Tom Davis, of course, has been almost invincible for non-conference teams in this building. His non-conference record at home is 72-5.
And you look at the Iowa Hawkeyes in this game, a starting lineup for Lersman going back to the point. It's interesting as you look at the number of shots the team has taken. Iowa's played 2 games. Their starters have 54 shots. Jones has got 53 shots in playing 2 games for Long Island. So he'd take as many as the Iowa starters.
Rucker jumping center for Iowa wins the tap, but it's chased down by Bowen, who scores.
And Iowa comes with some moderate pressure, and right away the inbounds pass. You will look, Long Island gets an inbounds pass quickly, and they will then attack. Iowa will have to do the same attacking on defense, taking away that inbounds.
Mike Campbell losing the dribble, so here come the Hawkeyes.
And Long Island going man-to-man early. Again, you can expect to see the inside game. Rucker and Bowen should be awfully strong inside.
Rucker called for it. Rucker gets the shot. The tip won't go by Moore. And McCausland comes out with a rebound.
See the wide gap right there on defense. The pressure comes out, and Bowen took advantage of the gap, driving it in the lane, and the dunk. See the widespread defense. Now Bowen sees the gap. He just drives to daylight to the goal and has an opportunity now for his 5th point and Iowa's 5th point in the first minute of play.
Shake Fall on the foul for Long Island, one of their starting forwards. And Ryan Bowen, who did not start the North Texas game because of a wounded knee, is now 100% healthy. More on the offensive putback.
And a good screen out by Rucker and McCausland allowed Moore to put that up uncontested. Long Island did a nice job of bringing that ball into the middle quickly where Iowa's pressure was down the sideline.
This is Kerry Anderson. Off the baseline, it is Jones, and the rebound by Bowen. So Ryan Bowen playing big here in the early seconds of the game. McCausland ready, aim, fire, bullseye.
And why not? On the wing, wide open, and right now, Coach Haskins says, I've seen enough. Let the shutout thrown at me.
The game only a minute and 10 seconds old, and the Hawkeyes have exploded and scored the first 9 points.
It's a surprise to me that Iowa getting out this well, but Coach Haskins told us one of the things he was concerned about is his team starts slowly sometimes. They need to have a little adversity to kick it in gear.
Kent McCausland, of course, the guy who's worked on his shooting so long, Mac, got to break down his form here. Jones missing from the wing. The rebound taken by Anderson, and his shot too hard off the glass. And Bowen with an early rebound. 2 rebounds, 4 points for Ryan Bowen. The game not yet 2 minutes old.
Ryan Luersman took that inside a little too deep, but then found Bowen the trailer. They get inside. Rucker really wants it.
McCausland for his second 3 of the night, not this time. Ball pulls down the rebound. Mike Campbell leads the charge. And the Blackbirds have still not scored.
Oh, foul there. Shoulder on shoulder, and nothing called. And Hawkeyes will bring in 3 players. And it'll be interesting to see which team will be a little deeper in this game.
It is Oliver, it is Davis, and it is Koch on for the Hawkeyes. So 2 minutes and 5 seconds into the game. The Hawks lead 9-0, and Tom Davis becomes the first coach to go to his bench. Dean Oliver telling us he probably had not started a regular season game. Last time he opened one on the bench may have been 3rd grade.
Very quick hands by Long Island. You look and you say, they get the 39 steals in one game. It's amazing to me they average 25 steals. 25 steals a game.
Oliver on the foul. The quick hands of Richie Parker. Now, we've talked all about Charles Jones, but Richie Parker goes to the free throw line, is a terrific player.
May have been the best player in New York his senior year in high school. And then he had some off-court activities in which he was involved in a sexual assault case and was looked at and thought he had opportunities to go to George Washington, Temple. Seton Hall is where he originally signed, unable to go to those schools, and Coach Ray Haskins knew him well from a long time ago and said he's a quality young man and wanted him in his basketball program.
Parker has averaged 26 through the first 4 Long Island games. One thing the Blackbirds do not do well is free throw shoot. But they do come up with those steals.
Yeah, Oliver got triple teamed, just unable to give it up, tried to dribble through it. And another turnover, that time by Koch. And the Hawkeyes a little rattled and need to slow it down and just settle down and pass the ball, reverse it from side to side.
And Hightower about to give the ball to Kent McCausland. He works along with Tom Rucker and Sam Licklider, 3 veteran Big Ten officials. On the reach-in, Kerry Anderson. Second foul called against Long Island.
Well, we talk about the steals of Long Island, but they match that, 25 steals. They average 25 fouls a game. And they really attack with the arms and the hands and trying to strip you.
And into the lineup comes their best 6th man, Matt Pishonik. He is a 6'7" senior, good long-range shooter.
See 3 people starting to look at Dean Oliver. And now you reverse the ball and get it down court to handle the pressure.
That time Iowa handled it well after struggling with it the first couple of looks. 9-0, nearly 3 minutes deep. Davis has it stripped. And coming up with a steal is Mike Campbell.
And you've seen early where dribbling gets you into trouble rather than passing the basketball, keeping the defense moving so they cannot set and try and double team you.
Oliver tried to get it to J.R. Koch, but he traveled with it. Well, one thing about any kind of a lead against Long Island, you know it's not safe. It was a week ago tonight down at TCU where Long Island was down by 25 in the second half and rallied to take the lead.
Well, they got the athletes and the scoring ability. You know they can come back quickly with points. Long Island so far 0 for 7, so it's been Iowa's defense, which has been pretty good. That time a backdoor play gives them their first 2.
And that is Jones who scores. Again, he's the defending scoring leader in the country.
Did a nice passing that time, side to side.
Another steal by Anderson. Boy, their quickness on defense is amazing. Offensive foul called on Parker.
The quickness of Iowa. Dean Oliver getting back, setting up in position, taking that charge.
The Hawkeyes in 2 games, Mac, have not had anybody play more than 24 minutes. Tonight, that's really going to be a challenge, that conditioning factor.
Especially coming after that Thanksgiving. You know, that's where you have to have the weigh-in before you leave and the weigh-in when you get back from having that Thanksgiving meal.
Lursman and Oliver now both along the back line for the Hawkeyes. Koch, Davis, and Rucker up front. Koch saw that opening we were talking about.
They don't keep any fly swatter at the back of that press. Everybody comes up on a man, no defender back around the goal. Koch being definite.
Recognize it, take it to the rack. That's what Tom Davis wants. That's what he's gotten. This is Jones. Right now, Davis on him, but a lot of Hawkeyes will get a chance, and Jones has hit a pair. Not only is Charles Jones a great scorer, he's a great talker, a real trash talker. Rucker.
Try to finish that, take it in strong. Guy just stopped. Now you talk about Jones and the trash talking. Last year in the NCAA tournament, John Celestan of Villanova said, I've seen some great ones, but this guy is up there among the best.
Koch tries to take it to the rack, and he's fouled by Matt Pishinik. That will be the 4th foul against Long Island. The Hawkeyes got in deep.
Well, when you get the penetration and you don't get double teamed, and this time Oliver just has one man on his hip, he can see the entire defense, finds the passing lane. When you get into trouble with the dribble is if you have to spin and turn, and you're turned into a defender as well as the one man on you, then the double team is there. Hard to get out of it.
J.R. Koch to the line. You see the 4 block shots against North Texas. He was the starter that day because Ryan Bowen's knee was tender. He also had 18 points and got 4 rebounds. This is Isaiah Francis, a junior from the Bronx, New York, a junior college transfer. He shares the point guard spot with Anderson, and Francis is averaging 17 a game, so they have lots of scoring opportunities on this ball club.
You talk about a guy who averages 17 points a game, and he's the 4th leading scorer on your team. Oop.
Long Island's Jones in the lane too quickly, and the coach of the Blackbirds, Ray Haskins, not pleased with the call. Gives J.R. Koch another chance.
This will be a game that the fans really enjoy, because it'll definitely stay up and down the entire time.
And so we've got a timeout. J.R. Koch has taken it to the rack very effectively, as you saw his earlier dunk. You're watching Big Ten basketball from ESPN+. Iowa with the early lead, 12-4. The 4 for Long Island have been scored by the machine, Charles Jones.
Well, you see it, the spot is around Ricky Davis taking away the passing lane. You don't want Charles Jones getting the ball in scoring position, especially where he can dribble and drive or take the three-point shot. So Davis takes away it. Now Jones pushes off and gets the backside open spacing for that reverse layup. A good athletic move by a scorer, Charles Jones.
Well, he's more than a scorer, too. The NBA likes him because he also averaged 6 rebounds and 5 assists a game last year. And a traveling violation on Pishinik as he tries to shuffle the ball across the midcourt line. So the Hawks take over on the turnover, up by 8.
Iowa goes back to the starting lineup.
No doubt conditioning will be a huge factor in this game. Moore, an unforced turnover.
Iowa again has basically been at three-quarters court, and this is the first time they've gone full court pressure right away, trying to double team, and they'll reset. And Jones will play a point guard as well as the shooting guard. That time he was shooting as a point guard.
Bowen with his 4th rebound. Lursman leads the Hawkeye break. And the rebound taken on the McCausland miss by Mike Campbell. Campbell may be the quiet guy of the trio of big scorers from Long Island, but he can do a lot of things offensively.
Boy, look at that. All 5 players were on the perimeter for Long Island. Nobody was inside, and they had no chance for the rebound.
McCausland gets the shooter's roll.
Good bank shot. Again, a lot of times you use a bank shot because you want to get it over a taller player, and you have a greater margin for error when you shoot it off the bank. It can deaden a hard shot as it did there.
Campbell with a shot, a 3 by Mike Campbell. He was first team All-League along with Jones last year for Long Island. They play in the Northeastern Conference. The steal, the jam by Jones.
Now there, Ryan Bowen and Ryan Luersman need to communicate in terms of staying behind so you can reverse that ball. You don't want to get ahead of the basketball and pass into the arms.
Moore gives it up for Bowen. Bowen tries to tip his own shot. And Jones comes ahead with it for the Blackbirds. Francis on the baseline. Francis to the free throw line. Foul on Daryl Moore.
Long Island does a great job of getting the ball out. And look at the spacing right here. You have 4 people already getting good spacing, getting the ball to the wing, and drawing the foul. Long Island offensively really pushing it, getting some scoring opportunities.
Oliver and Davis back on for the Hawkeyes is Isaiah Francis, a junior college transfer who in his junior college career scored nearly 1,300 points, goes to the line.
He also averages 5 steals a game already on this season. He has 20 steals.
So Iowa's one-time 9-point lead has been shaved to 4. As Rucker goes out and J.R. Koch comes on. Last year, Long Island 21-9, made it to the NCAA tournament, first time in 13 years. It's now a 3-point ball game. We talked about the Blackbirds' ability to come back. You're seeing it right here.
And J.R. Koch struggled a little bit there. Nobody coming to the ball or screening to get open against that full court pressure. You got to keep in the back of your mind always, you can take that 20-second timeout, because one of them isn't going to carry over to the second half anyway.
Iowa's been outscored 11-5 since leading 9-0. Koch looking for a guard, and it is Oliver who helps out. Oliver gets pushed by Campbell. And that is already 5 fouls against Long Island, contrasted to 2 against Iowa.
And they're going to draw some fouls with that pressure. And they like to push and just hand check you and get off right away where it doesn't look like a major physical contact, but it's very disruptive to a ball handler.
Francis works against Oliver.
They see the hand right there on Dean Oliver.
Hawks spread the offense wide. Bowen trying to back Parker down, finds Oliver on the baseline. Oliver again, nice move.
Sweet move inside by Oliver, a little head fake.
Wow, there's a sweet move. That's
little
beautiful.
Scoop, half hook, half scoop.
Man. After the Long Island turnover, the Hawkeyes get the ball out of the backcourt. Davis loses the dribble. McCausland recovers it.
Again, you see the trouble Iowa's having dribbling the basketball. You need to give it up, pass it, reverse it, and go side to side with it.
Now you see why Long Island forced Purdue into 37 turnovers in their season opener. Boilermakers won at 119-95, but it wasn't easy. Bowen wide on the hook. And with the rebound, Long Island. This is Francis. Pishinik for 3. Bowen has already got 7 rebounds.
It's a lot of opportunities up there. When you put up a lot of missed shots, you get a lot of rebounds.
Davis, no look feed to Bowen. Quite a pass by Ricky Davis.
And Iowa players are waving to get out of the game. They've been up and down with a lot of pressure.
Campbell drains the three. So this is the game everybody expected it would be. No surprises here.
Now, this is no cupcake. No, this is more like a wedding cake. You got a big group out here, I'll tell you.
Also number 22,
Jones got the foul, immediately said something to Ed Hightower, who immediately turned around and said something to Jones. So we've got a timeout with 11:37 left to play in the first half. Ryan Bowen going inside effectively. You're watching Big Ten basketball from ESPN+. Long Island, as we take a look at a Norwest quick stat, certainly this game leading up to its offensive potential, but how about the steal situation?
I'll tell you, we've got Long Island with 6 of them already. And again, that is their bread and butter, though. That's how they play defense. Their defense is stealing, turning it over, and turning them into points right away.
And they are quick. Hawkeyes trying to move the ball around quickly, spreading the offense wide against the Blackbirds. Koch offensive foul. Third whistle against Iowa, first on JR.
You just noticed the size difference when Koch and Rucker are in there. They are 3-4 inches taller than anybody that Long Island can put out there.
Vichenick to inbound for Long Island.
And see Iowa's pressure right there.
Davis has it tried to take away by Anderson. Anderson with a foul. Well, that's something Ray Haskins told us. He was really concerned about getting that ball in.
As you see the full court pressure, Rucker makes it difficult to throw over. Cannot see the Iowa defender in there. And then Davis gets fouled. And as you said, Coach Haskins talked to us early today. He said the thing that really worried him about Iowa was that first pass inbounds and then the first trap. And no doubt about it, he knew what he was looking at when he saw that tape.
Yeah, I was going to say, that tells me he's seen a few Hawkeye tapes. Haskins, a legendary high school coach at Alexander Hamilton High School in Brooklyn. Just his third year at Long Island. He's really upgraded their program and certainly upgraded their talent level. Parker trying to finish the break. Now Campbell on the follow. And it's out of bounds off Long Island's Kerry Anderson. The ball goes back to Iowa.
And Long Island had a 3-on-1 break, couldn't convert it.
I thought Iowa did a great job getting back because I was amazed at the speed that the Blackbirds got the ball down the floor. Kyle Galloway, number 30, comes on for Tom Davis's Hawkeyes. That's Galloway. Waited for everybody to clear, didn't finish, but does this time. And the Hawkeyes lead by 6. Blackbirds trying the home run ball.
That was something the old Brooklyn Dodgers would have liked, the old home run ball. Of course, it's interesting when you talk Long Island, their arena used to be the old Brooklyn Paramount Theater. And they have an interesting organ that comes out of the floor, raises up from the old Paramount Theater. And do you know who plays it? Huh?
I bet it's, well, you tell me.
It's Eddie Layton.
Who's Eddie Layton?
Eddie Layton is the famous New York Yankee organ player. He's been playing there for years, and he plays for LIU home games.
Boy, you know lots and lots about baseball. I thought basketball was the sum total of your athletic knowledge. Boy, was I wrong.
Yeah, stay in that American League. I can know something once in a while.
Is Eddie Layton the greatest organist in the major leagues, do you think?
I'll go with the best male organist, yes.
All right. Not going to get into the Nancy Faust controversy.
No.
Oliver on the miss. And the foul called along the baseline. The shove spotted, I believe, against Mike Campbell, and it is Campbell who's assessed with a foul, his second, and the 7th called against the Blackbirds. So the Hawks now in the bonus for the final 10:21 of the first half, and Daryl Moore, who has scored 2 so far, to the line. Long Island in 4 games averaging 118 points a game, a bit inflated by that 179 the other night. And of course the Hawkeyes have scored more than 100 in their first 2 games.
And admittedly so, the competition in those first 2 games is not as good as certainly this one. Long Island, a quality team playing TCU, Purdue.
Bowen recovers. 8 for Bowen. Hawks build the lead back to 8. That is Anderson, the point guard. And they got both of their point guards in, Anderson and Francis now. Campbell fires from the wing. In essence, they got 4 guards in the lineup right now for Long Island.
Iowa showing some patience at the offensive end. And an illegal screen by Kyle Galloway. You know, one of the worst shots you have is when you come down and you step on the line. You think you're shooting a 3, and you end up shooting really a 2. And you just got to know where you are with that line. And then he missed it anyway. But probably the worst shot is thinking it's a 3, and you step on the line for the 2.
Against Iowa pressure, Jones attempts to inbound. Number 31 is Ray Rivera Jr. in for the first time for the Blackbirds. Jones shadowed by Galloway. Hawks have done a decent job on him so far, Mac.
Yeah. And Iowa now going to zone. And 3 for 7 is what Jones has been so far.
He tries to create something there. Blocking foul on Galloway. Will not be a popular call with the crowd. Galloway with the foul, his second.
Kim McCausland flashes out, and the ball now comes back down to Jones. Galloway trying to take away the shot and the dribble. Does a good job. Then it's a switch off, a little double team there. Iowa doing a good job not letting Jones have an easy opportunity to look at the basket.
So Charles Jones to the line. Last year, Villanova was the opponent for Long Island in the NCAA tournament. The coach of Villanova, Steve Lapis, made a mistake. He said, I hear this Mike Jones is a pretty good player. But Charles took some umbrage at that and scored 37 points and grabbed 13 rebounds against Villanova.
You better call him Mr. Jones.
Yeah,
and now he's
right.
even smiling a little bit.
Loses the first one on a lane violation, hits the next. And it is a 23-15 ball game. McCausland in deep, got it.
And finishing inside on a good assist. That time ball reversal from Davis to Luersman over to Kent.
Anderson.
And that's ball reversal the other way.
Yes, it is.
LIU.
We're going to see plenty of that. I'll tell you where we have not used so far tonight. I don't think we will. Shot clock.
No, I don't think so. Iowa still rushing the ball a little bit with the dribble. They have shown where they're patient and move the ball from side to side or wing to wing. They can get some good open shots, or that defense really comes out and leaves some gaps. Like right there was a quick double team and unable to take advantage of the open spacing.
Rucker on the miss and pulling down the rebound, Jonathan Frank.
Watch out, this will be a 3 or a 2. He ain't gonna give it up, is he? Yeah, he did. Oh.
Out of the corner, Rivera missing badly. The follow won't go by Frank. And a push is spotted against the Hawkeyes.
So we'd like to welcome our New York friends watching us back there. Coach Haskins said his wife was having a few friends over, a couple hundred, to watch the game.
Luersman on that last foul for the Hawkeyes, and is a team Iowa with 6 and Long Island with 8. Jones for 3. He's a sweet shooter, and Charles Jones suddenly has 10 points. To comment how quiet he is, Mac, and he explodes. Davis at the other end. And Davis is fouled by Parker.
Jones has all those offensive skills. He can take it off the dribble. He has long-range shooting ability, and that one catches nothing but the bottom of the net.
Parker with his second foul, and to the line, the talented Iowa freshman, Ricky Davis. Davis so far leading Iowa in scoring in 2 ball games, averaging 19. He's got 2 in this one. Oliver back on for Iowa. Iowa increases the lead to 7 as Davis hits both at the line.
And making that free throw lets Iowa set up their press. Again, they're right on the ball. Would have a chance to get a double team, and they drew a foul. Reaching by Oliver.
And that will be his second foul. And it will send Jones to the line because that is the 7th. And Iowa now in the penalty. The final 8:07 on the half. One thing that Long Island has not done well this year, Mac, is shoot their free throws. They're only about 51% from the line.
And you consider how much they get to practice shooting the basketball, the way they run it up the court and shoot threes, you'd think they would be a better free throw shooting team.
Charles Jones coming off a school record 53 points Wednesday night against Medgar Evers, a Division III school. Jones started his career at Rutgers, but had some trouble academically. And he has really fit in well at Long Island.
And when he was at Rutgers, I think he averaged like 13 points as a freshman. So he was going to be a scorer there with Rutgers and in the Big East.
He cuts the Iowa lead to 5 by hitting a pair, and Charles Jones, the nation's scoring leader last year, has a dozen. That Pishinik comes on, and Jones will get a rare rest. Blackbirds with full court pressure.
Once again, you see that quick hand check. They just put a hand on the hip and then get off of it.
Moore rises up. Bowen grabs the rebound. Taken away from him by Frank. We've got a timeout. 7 minutes, 51 seconds left to play in the first half. Iowa has led all the way, and the current margin is 5. It's Iowa 27, LIU 22. We'll be right back. By 5, 27-22. You know, the shopping season started yesterday. With this holiday season approaching, what better gift for your boy than a gift to the Iowa Hawkeye Summer Basketball Camp? There's the number to call for information, a couple of dates in July, and it's a great camp because not only do you get Tom Davis's assistance, but his staff is all there, very involved in the camp.
You see Frank DeLeo and Rich Walker, Gary Close, all involved in the camp, teaching the fundamentals, and of course, 3 excellent recruiters.
So again, what a great gift that would make. Oliver rises up, fires the 3. Pishinik with a rebound. Here comes Anderson. Oh, what a block by Bowen.
Oh.
From nowhere.
Chase from behind, great effort. Bowen continues to be extremely valuable, not only in just the things that you realize as points and rebounds, but here an intimidation factor. And a hold inside by J.R. Koch, I believe. Going up, easy scoring opportunity. Anderson thought, and all of a sudden, no ball.
Hey, what's really unusual about this game, Mac, usually the Hawkeyes have a definitive advantage in free throw chances. That is not true tonight.
I was just thinking the very same thing. I can't remember the last time Iowa had 8 fouls and still almost have 8 minutes left to go in the first half.
Now, is this the style of Long Island that forces you to do that?
Yeah, it really does, because they will try and take you one-on-one to the basket, and that'll draw the fouls. And then Iowa has been doing a good job of transition defense and really making LIU not have a lot of open opportunities.
And rebound by Bowen, his 10th. So he's a basket away from a double-double with still plenty of time left in the first half. Campbell travels, and the ball goes back to the Hawkeyes.
Hawkeyes again have to come to the ball, and they have to keep reversing the ball side to side. When those opportunities have taken place, Iowa's had easy scoring opportunities. See, staying behind the ball until you come over the line.
They try to trap Bowen. Nice job of handling it, getting rid of it.
See the double team come up right away, and they take away the passing lane on both sides.
And with the foul, Jonathan Frank. Check some other basketball going on around the country, and already lots of action in this Thanksgiving holiday weekend. And as far as things going on right now, let's look at these finals.
Yeah, Georgia Tech gets Louisville, and Wake Forest over Richmond. Illinois losing to St. John's.
I was out in Puerto Rico, game for 3rd place. Northwestern having a tough time, but they're winning tonight.
Looks like Arizona. You know, one night Arizona looked absolutely unbeatable, like an NBA team, and the next night Duke gets them. Okay, college basketball, there's nothing like it.
One shot, guys.
There's a good matchup.
Yeah.
Couple of rated teams. Looked like a good ball game, too.
And Arkansas got Fresno State.
Now, we've seen a bundle of upsets already, haven't we?
Yep.
I mean, a bunch of them. And violation taking it away from Davis, and so the scoreboard at 29-22 in favor of the Hawkeyes with 6:55 left in the first half. Halftime, Ronnie Lester, scouting for the Lakers tonight, comes by to join us. Iowa's 5th all-time best scorer.
Iowa did a good job there. Ryan Lursman just attacked Jones, and that's what you have to do with a good offensive player. You have to attack him defensively. Iowa in the zone.
Frank loses. Lursman coming up with a steal. Davis on the baseline. And the rebound pulled down by Campbell. That is Jones. Tom Davis said the guards would get some chances to rebound on those missed threes. That was a good one by Lursman right there. Now Anderson comes the other way, and he loses it to McCausland.
How's a handoff to the fullback?
3-on-1, Bowen. Double-double for Bowen. 10 points, 10 rebounds. Still almost 6 to go in the first half.
And that was just strength. Kent McCausland on the steal, gets a tip. And Jones tries to respond. And I'll tell you, shooting like that from a great shooter happens because you work so hard on defense. McCausland here on the bounce pass on the 3-on-1 to the roomy Bowen to finish.
Keep it in the room that time.
And Kid says, I'm a little tired. That turkey got to me.
Listen, who wouldn't be? Great pace played in this ball game.
Again, a good job there. Kent McCausland trailing Dean Oliver. So you've got an outlet man behind you.
Isaiah Francis, number 11, has come back in for Long Island. He will be the point guard. Oliver, good look inside to Moore. Oh, what a look by Dean Oliver.
Oliver has already, in this game, started to play stronger with the ball than he did in the first 5 minutes. When he goes into traffic now, he's got his elbows out, and he's really strong with that basketball to protect it. And then he got the recovery there, the transition defense. Watch and see if a man steps behind to try and score.
Inside, it is Parker off the baseline. Richie Parker with his first bucket, and he comes in averaging 26.
Iowa's really done a good job on those 3 top scorers, Campbell, Parker, and Jones.
Campbell, a couple of threes early, but silent since. That was Parker's first 2. And Jones has 12. Other than that, just 2 free throws, the scoring for Long Island.
Yeah, great pressure by Long Island. I enjoy watching that pressure. Iowa just has to be smart.
Shot clock down to 5. So we did talk about the shot clock. And then the travel gives it back to the Blackbirds.
And again, when you get caught like that, certainly in the first half, you can use a 30-second. That'll be 3 on Dean, I believe.
You're right. Dean Oliver foul number 3. And, of course, the depth of the point guard, not yet what Tom Davis wants. However, Jason Bauer may be able to see a little playing time tonight.
Sliding in, protecting that driving lane, trying to get position. Gets called for his 3rd.
At Pishinik to the free throw line for Long Island. Long Island played here back in '94, and then as a freshman, Pishinik got 9 points in that game as a starter. Koch with his 2nd rebound. Here come the Hawks, up by 9. Jones chasing Lursman.
And they really come out, extend that offense. Then what you got to do is look for the back out when you get the ball, and then when you got to look inside.
Bowen pulls out his 11th rebound, his career high 18 against LaSalle.
And that was Lursman's first miss of the season.
That's right. You're right. He'd come in, hit his first 4 shots, 3 of them from three-point range, and his first 2 free throws prior to that miss. Moore recovers. Bowen, another rebound. Now Koch tries.
That's the finish. Strength inside. That has been Iowa's strong point, counteracting the quickness on the outside of Long Island.
The Iowa lead 11, maybe more. 3-on-1 break. Foul on Fishernick.
That was an odd fast break in that people were already in the lanes down underneath the basket. There wasn't spacing allowed. It was a difficult situation for Ryan Lersman to convert, as he had to try and dish it off, and there was just no spacing.
You mentioned Jason Bauer might see some action tonight for the Hawkeyes. Of course, he's been on the sideline with a broken bone in his right hand, but he now has reported to the scoring table. And with Oliver with 3 fouls, Hawkeyes might need some minutes from Bauer tonight.
The trouble that Bauer is going to have is, you look at his right hand, he's got the wrap on it. He's predominantly a right-handed player, and with the kind of pressure here, you're going to have to see Jason definitely try and give that ball up, because dribbling will be a little more difficult.
Lersman gets the roll, and the Hawkeyes had their biggest lead of the game. The Iowa lead is 12 at 36-24. We have a timeout. You're watching Big Ten basketball from ESPN+. The Hawkeyes have their biggest lead at 36-24.
And Iowa has done an outstanding job rebounding, and certainly one of the people that have done it have been Ryan Bowen with 12 rebounds already. And you know, we talked to Coach Haskins earlier today, and he had told us he thought that would be the most difficult thing his team would face. He says Iowa's strength is our weakness, and that's that inside game. We don't have one, and they've got some awfully good players. And Bowen already with a double-double, 10 points, 12 rebounds.
Jones, Francis along the back line along with Rivera. Fishernick up front, and in the middle, it is Frank. On the drive, it is Francis who banks it in. His first bucket. Almost a steal by Jonathan Frank. Jason Bauer, number 3, did come in at the dead ball, and you see him handling it there with his right hand still bandaged. More precautionary than anything else, and reaching out and grabbing him, Isaiah Francis for his first foul. So Jason Bauer will go to the line.
Honestly, that's not a foul you see called a lot. You put your hands in where the ball comes across where a man wants to dribble it, and that's a defensive technique taught. You keep one hand or both hands right in the middle of the offensive player's body, try to deflect it.
You saw Ray Haskins smiling after the call. He comes at coaching from an interesting perspective in that he's a card-carrying referee.
Yeah, he told us that I really believe all good coaches should be officials. He says you understand what they're going through, and sometimes it can help you in terms of what you're trying to get done with your players in teaching them the rules and some of the things that will cause fouls.
In fact, he has trained a lot of officials in the New York City area in those years between coaching jobs, because he got out of coaching for a while and was a high school principal and administrator.
Got those Hayden Fry glasses a little bit, tended to darken.
Moore commits the foul, and Francis will go to the free throw line for Daryl Moore, his second foul. Hawkeyes are at 10, and you're right, Mac. I don't remember the last time that Iowa had 10 fouls and a half, especially at home. Isaiah Francis, a prolific scorer in his own right at Monroe, New York Community College. But he started when Jones was suspended for the first 2 games for playing in a second summer league. Only one's allowed, and during that period, Francis averaged 17 points.
I honestly thought we'd see a little faster pace. The fouls have slowed it down to a bit of a free throw contest.
Is there anybody that you can recall that plays the kind of pressure defense that Long Island plays? It's really pretty unique, isn't it?
Well, they really charge after you the minute you come over half court for a quick double team. And you're right, I don't recall, anybody certainly in the Big Ten that plays that kind of style. They'll trap you out of a zone, but not out of a man-to-man. Loyola Marymount, they did everything to try and turn you over. to get their game going. But they really wanted to do it offensively as well.
McCausland on the line. Count that as 2, and Kent McCausland has 9.
It'll be interesting if they're going to give him the 20-second timeout. And there's going to be a discussion whether he had control of the ball. That's one of the rules of emphasis this year, if you have control. And they are going to give Iowa the 20-second timeout.
Sam Licklider, Tom Rucker, 2 veteran officials confer. Coach Haskins says, I didn't think he was in control, but Tom Rucker says, my opinion counts that he was. And so, with 2:15 left to play, a 20-second timeout.
Now you see the man take the ball out of bounds, and watch Ricky Davis at the top of the screen, intercept the ball. He starts to go out. Now you have to have control of the basketball. If you have control, you can call that 20-second timeout. And it's a judgment call by the official. And in this case, they said he had control. And you can say, Coach Haskins said, now where I come from, back on Long Island, we have to have 2 forks stuck in the ball before we call it control.
Now last year, the first year of that 20-second rule, and there wasn't such an emphasis on that. And virtually every time you call timeout flying out of bounds, you got it. As you say, it's not a rule change, it's just a rule interpretation emphasis. They're going to call it closer this year. You better be in control. The takeaway by Rivera. Now he goes into a trap. Lursman reaches in and fouls. Lursman's second foul. So in the point guard situation for Iowa, Lursman with 2 fouls and Oliver with 3.
And in that emphatic foul, Mr. Hightower lost his whistle, has retrieved it.
Long Island on the night only about 50% from the line. If they were hitting their free throws, it'd be a much closer ball game.
And of course, as you said, that's what they've really been for the year, 50% free throw shooting team. Or anytime you can move that up to 68 or 70%, you're going to stay in games. When you move it over 70%, you're going to win some games you really shouldn't.
No, like Ray Haskins told us, he said, our club does not have a lot of margin for error tonight. Well, certainly free throws, if you're going to be a road team, in this situation, you got to nail them. Rivera 1 out of 2 there, and so the Hawkeyes lead by a dozen. Lursman fouled by Francis. Isaiah Francis on his second foul, and Lursman will go to the line.
And I think Coach Haskins is a little disturbed right now with the officiating. He doesn't think his players are playing any differently defensively, yet they're getting called for fouls.
Well, this really has been a march to the free throw line the last 5 or 6 minutes. Lots of free throws shot by both teams, and neither team doing an especially good job with it.
And Louis missing his first free throw, wasn't he?
He missed one earlier.
That's right.
And now he's just 1 out of 4, and that is not typical Ryan Lursman of the line. Francis walked, didn't he?
Yes, he did. In fact, he didn't walk. He took a hop and a skip. He thought it was the triple jump.
Let me take the ball from him. Let me take the ball from him.
Anderson back in at the point for the Blackbirds. Corey Anderson, a junior out of the Bronx, grew up with Richie Parker. They played together in AAU, and now they're back together reunited at Long Island.
I'll tell you, you're going to see Long Island be certainly probably the conference champion and an opportunity to go to the NCAA. Oh, a little left hand, get in, Mr. Bowen.
Oh, on the rim a few times, but not quite. But Bowen will have a chance at the free throw line.
Again, you talk about not dribbling the basketball. You keep the ball high, and it's Rucker, high, low to Bowen, and the left-handed effort. But again, keeping the ball off the floor really breaks down defenses, especially pressure defenses. Pressure defenses thrive on the dribbler putting his head down, trying to go through people. And once a ball handler does that, it plays right into the hands of what the defense wants. If you pass over it or around it, you make the defender keep moving, shifting positions.
And on the arm is Rucker as the rebound taken down by the Blackbirds, and Rucker's got his first foul, so now we walk the other way. You look at Rucker, you were mentioning, he should have had an assist last time. The ball on the rim wouldn't go down. Last year, all season, Guy Rucker, 13 assists. He already had 7 in the first 2 Iowa games this year.
Well, he's really improved just his ability to relax and see the court. And that may sound funny, but it's what experience does to you. As a youngster or a freshman, even sometimes as a sophomore, you try and hurry things. You try and do what the coach told you to do rather than what the court shows you as aware out. As you said, Rutgers seeing the court much better this year. Slows down the game, so he's able to go ahead and just have opportunities to score or to get an assist.
Well, I tell you, the free throw shooting tonight has not been good, especially not good for Long Island. Iowa is pouring up at 50%, but look at the Blackbirds.
That's a Long Island iced tea free throw.
I think everybody's too tired from the pace when they get to the line.
Yeah, part of that is
true. To get it 15 feet. Bauer is stripped.
But we said Jason may have trouble because he's still got that wrap on that right hand.
Jones puts in his 14th point. A steal by Pishinek.
Koch trying to dribble at 6'10", getting in trouble.
First half clock winding down. From Long Island, I think that's where Jones put that one in.
Yeah. Staten Island to Long Island.
And maybe Ellis Island. That was his 17th point. So Charles Jones living right up to his expectations.
And he's getting a little excited.
And again, they say not only a great player, but a great talker.
I haven't seen him talk too much out there. Maybe one of those ventriloquist talkers where he doesn't move his lips or his mouth. Still let you know what's going on.
Long Island back to within 7. A moment ago, the Hawkeyes had a 14-point lead. Offensive foul, the ball goes to Iowa. With the foul, Ray Rivera Jr. That's his second.
And that was good help by Galloway because Bowen had gone out on Jones and there was nobody really deep behind there to be a shot blocker.
A steal and a steal.
I tell you, the statisticians are going nuts tonight.
Oh, yeah. Doug Schmidt's going to have to ice his arm at halftime. He's our stat guy. Thirteenth rebound for Bowen. There's about a 5-second differential between the shot clock and what you're looking at the game clock. It doesn't matter now with the foul called on Rivera, his third.
You gotta stay, guys.
That is the 16th foul called against Long Island in the first half. The Hawkeyes, let's see here, 12 called against Iowa. So we have seen 28 fouls called in the first half.
Calculator time.
And Bowen gets it down for his 11th point. Ryan Bowen with his 14th career double-double, and we're still in the first half. He has 13 rebounds. He now has 11 points. And the Hawks back up by 9.
And we're down to just 28 seconds left in this first half.
You wouldn't expect the Blackbirds to play for one, would you?
I would expect Mr. Jones to get the ball.
The way they put it up, you'd think they would go for it as soon as they see the opening. Yep, they will. Rivera nails the three. Hawkeyes have to hurry. Bowen wants to go to the rack. Oh, got it to Davis. And the half ends in a frenzy, but not in points for the Hawkeyes. And the Iowa Hawkeyes will have a 6-point lead at halftime. The halftime scoreboard reads Iowa 42, Long Island 36. You're watching Big Ten basketball from ESPN+. A wild first half of the Hawkeyes lead the Blackbirds 42-36. Let's take a look now at a Big Ten update, and certainly this has been a Thanksgiving holiday that has seen the Big Ten teams travel and a mixed bag of results. In Alaska, the news has been all good for the Purdue Boilermakers. They find themselves in the championship game of the Great Alaska Shootout tonight against North Carolina. But for some of the other teams, a mixed bag. In Puerto Rico, Illinois got off to a great start against the host team. Wound up placing third in that tournament, losing this afternoon to St. John's in the third place game. They wound up fourth. Now, back we go west to the islands, and for Indiana, a real shocker. One of the teams favored to do well in the Big Ten, the Hoosiers, got ripped by the Rainbows by that score of 82-65. And for the Wisconsin Badgers, Sam Oakey suffered some back spasms, and that hurt the Badgers on their trip to the islands because they ran against Pacific and lost to the Pacific Tigers. And then they got into the consolation game, and they beat Oklahoma, another team surprised to not be playing for the championship. The Badgers won that one by a score of 75-64. So that's what's going on as far as Big Ten teams traveling. We mentioned Purdue off to a good start in the Great Alaska Shootout, and certainly Gene Keady, their coach, is about to complete quite a milestone.
Well, he really is. He may become now the #1 coach in Purdue history, beating Coach Lambert for a number of wins. And I'll tell you, that's a great accomplishment. He told us in Chicago how proud he was to represent the university and have the kids that he's had over the years, and just the great fan support that he's had from the Purdue Boilermaker fans. And he is a great basketball job, and Gene Keady, one of the really great coaches.
He really is well respected around the country. And if you're a Big Ten basketball fan, pay attention. The Hawkeyes have the lead at the half, 42-36, and we are joined by Iowa's last basketball All-American, Ronnie Lester, now a scout for the Los Angeles Lakers. And Ronnie, I got to assume you're scouting some talent tonight. We see Charles Jones, we see certainly Ryan Bowen, two guys mentioned in the NBA. Are you keeping an eye on them especially tonight?
Yeah, came in to see those guys, and also Iowa's young players, Dean Oliver and also Ricky Davis.
And what are your impressions so far?
You know, the game has been a kind of a raggedy game, back and forth. I think both teams, the way they play with the full court press, you know, guards with quick hands are getting a lot of steals and turning into easy baskets for both teams. So the game has not been a well-played game.
Ronnie, if you look at last year, Andre Woolridge leads the Big Ten in scoring, leads them in assists. I think a lot of Iowa fans were a little surprised that he didn't get drafted. What do you think he needs to do to play at the NBA level, or what did you see that's kept him out of being at the NBA?
His ability to make perimeter shots. I think the thing is, you know, this year, the draft was so deep this year. There were so many good players. Usually in the draft, there's probably 2 or 3 kids after the draft every year. You say, wow, can't believe he didn't get drafted. And this year, I think it was about 10 or 12 guys. So it was just so many good players in the draft.
Let's talk about the Lakers a little bit. You go after that tremendous start, even with Shaq being injured. Tell me what's key to the good start so far.
I think, you know, just our guys getting a little bit older, a little bit more experience, you know, losing in the playoffs the last couple years. Guys really working hard over the summer and wanting to advance to that next level.
You know, Ronnie, when you played, they didn't have that arc out there. They didn't have the three-point line, and they didn't have the shot clock. Have you ever thought about what advantage that would have given you, or would have been a disadvantage in college? How do you think it would have affected your game playing for Iowa?
I don't think it affected my game much, but the game, you kind of dated me a little bit. The game has changed.
Sorry about that.
With the three-point line and the shot clock. You know, it would have speeded the game up a little bit more, because in our day, some teams would, especially teams that didn't feel that they had as much talent as you, would slow the ball down and take a minute or 2 to shoot the ball. And you know, those type teams today would have a tough time with the shot clock and the three-point line. As
we do talk about you and your playing day, let me ask, how is your knee? You know, that was a critical thing that happened back in 1980 as far as your knee injury to the Iowa fortunes of trying to win a national championship. How does it feel today?
It's okay. You know, I still play a little bit as long as I don't overdo it. I kind of know my body a little bit, so, you know, I play a little bit. As long as I don't overdo it, I'm okay.
Not NBA ready yet, though, right?
No.
Well, Ronnie, you're looking great. Thanks so much for joining us.
Okay, thank you.
Ronnie Lester, the 5th all-time best scorer in Hawkeye history, a 3-time All-American back in Iowa City, scouting for the Los Angeles Lakers tonight. We're at halftime at Carver-Hawkeye Arena. Quite a first half, and Iowa leads Long Island by 6. Halftime for the Hawkeyes and the Blackbirds, and it's Iowa leading Long Island by a score of 42-36. Plenty of first half highlights, Mac, and we got a good show from Charles Jones, the defending scoring leader in the country.
Well, his ability again to shoot it long, take it off the dribble, although he did have a couple air balls, one a free throw, one a field goal, but he is a talent. But Iowa has done a good job in getting this lead by playing defense, transition defense. Here, getting back a little late, but early enough to reject Ryan Bowen. And the passing. A little too much dribbling early on, and now Oliver releases the pass for an assist as Daryl Moore gets the reverse layup.
And the statisticians have been gathering the many numbers from the first half. There were plenty of those. We'll check them in a moment. You're watching Big Ten basketball from ESPN+. At halftime, the Hawkeyes lead Long Island 42-36. Let's take a look at the first half numbers. Well, neither team shot very well, man.
Yeah, it was interesting statistics, and like you say, when you think a game's going to be up and down and a lot of points, you'd expect better percentage, but neither team shooting it well. Free throws, neither team shooting it well. 3-point, nobody shooting it well. Rebounds, Iowa dominating, and the thing that has a high stat number are your turnovers, 15 and 18. But, you know, that's not surprising. You look back, Minnesota last year played Long Island and had 33 turnovers, and they won. This year, Purdue had 37 turnovers, a Gene Cady team with 37 turnovers, and they still won playing Long Island. So Iowa on a pace to be at that 35, 36, 37 turnovers.
Long Island's made a change to start the second half, and John Morgenstern, a junior college transfer who did not play at all in the first half, will start in the middle. Shake Fall, who did start in the middle for Long Island, maybe played a minute and a half and never returned. So that's a position that Ray Haskins is concerned about. Hawkeyes starting the way they started the ball game. Luersman starting at the point because Tom Davis, against this ability of Long Island to disrupt a team, wanted some more experience there. So he starts at the point. Kent McCausland in the back line with him, and up front it's Rucker, Bowen, and Moore.
And Luersman did have 4 assists. And I think they're discussing whose ball it is.
So now they will check the play-by-play sheet. That's Steve Rowe, the assistant sports information director. And, of course, if you don't know, they keep a play-by-play on the entire ball game, not only who scores the basket, but who had the first possession. Let's listen in.
No possession. No possession. Blue ball. Okay, blue ball. Blue ball. We're ready to go. Yeah.
And you heard Tom Rucker, Ed Hightower, and Sam Licklider, the veteran Big Ten officiating crew. They're going to give it to Long Island, so Tom Davis wants an explanation. And Sam Licklider will finish the explanation, and apparently Coach Davis agrees. We're about to have Jones inbound for Long Island to get the second half underway. It is a Long Island possession. And I recall the opening tap, Mac, Rucker got it, but then Long Island had a split-second possession, and the Hawkeyes came up with it.
Yeah, I don't think there were any other opportunities. That's a double block shot there as Rucker and Bowen both tapped it away. And Morgenstein in there. I just don't know how long he'll be in the year. You got to figure he's got to be cold. He hasn't played for an hour and a half.
Yeah, I know.
First half.
Interesting decision, isn't it?
Took a long time.
The lob inside. Rucker off the baseline, scores. That's his first bucket. And, in fact, his first point.
You got to get Guy Rucker some touches early. Keep him active in the game. And that was a good interior pass by Kent to get it to Guy. Now Guy gets a rebound. And he's saying, help, I'm not a guard.
Rucker with his second rebound, so he scored no points and got 1 rebound in the first half, and already has done better than that in the first minute of the second half. Is that Kent McCausland playing the post right now?
He won't be there for long. He'll just set a screen.
McCausland where he belongs. And the rebound momentarily grabbed by Jones. Now Jones gets the feed from Anderson. And Rucker gets his second rebound. Ahead it's Moore.
Nice pass, nice head fake. That was a good breakout. Good recognition by Bowen. Knowing Moore was ahead. I was just showing some token pressure. Going man to man.
Take away by McCausland. And the Hawkeyes have 2 fast break buckets to start the half.
And they start the second half just like they did the first half. Great defense, passing lanes, taking them away.
The Hawkeyes have scored the first 6 points of the second half. It started with the lob into the big guy, and Rucker gets his first bucket. And then it ends with a McCausland steal and drive for a score. And the Hawkeyes able to open a 12-point advantage.
Good job by Kent creating distance, keeping the defender on the outside where he could get a hand in the passing lane.
And as you say, just like at the start of the ball game, Ray Haskins forced to go to a 20-second timeout within the first 2 minutes of the half. Jones and Anderson bring it ahead for Long Island. That is Anderson on the dribble.
On their set offense, we haven't seen it much. They run like a 1-4, 2 high posts, 2 wings, and a man tries to take it one-on-one, which he did there, and didn't get much.
Moore comes up with the rebound. Last touch by Parker, so the Hawkeyes will play it with 17:50 to go. Long Island, a team that really forced to go on the road to get their games. The next time they'll play it will be at the Ball State Classic, and they'll take on another rated team in Ole Miss.
Now, Long Island doesn't get many home games from what you call upper Division I teams.
Their travel's only beginning. Rucker puts it down. So somebody lit a fire under Guy Rucker at halftime. And the Hawkeyes did the first 8 of the second half.
With Guy, I think it's really a matter. You let him set up low on the post. You just get him the ball. But if he works hard, big men work hard, and they don't get the ball pretty soon, they get a little discouraged.
Mike Campbell scores on the drive for the Blackbirds, and he's fouled by Ryan Bowen. First foul called on Bowen. In the first half, Long Island was whistled 16 times, and Iowa 12, a total of 28 fouls. A total of 36 free throws shot in the first half.
What a first half Ryan Bowen had. 13 points, 13 rebounds.
And Campbell puts it down, and he has got 9. Those are the first points, that three-point play by Long Island here in the early moments of the second half. Lursman kicks from McCausland, who finds Bowen. Nice execution by Iowa there.
Jim McCausland again recognizing somebody flashing at him, just gave a little shot fake, and there is no defense on the interior. Bowen, easy layup.
Open Campbell. Rebound by Francis. And with a push, Daryl Moore. So Moore called for his 3rd foul, and he joins Oliver with 3 fouls for Iowa.
Final charge number 45 for the Hawks, Daryl Moore, his 3rd.
Now there's decision time now. You watch this defender, what he is going to have to do. The ball comes inside to Lursman. He drops down, and that leaves Rucker with his good touch right there at 12 feet. Scoring opportunity. So you put the defensive man in a quandary of what to do. And he had to make a decision. He went to the ball, leaving the shooter open.
Iowa with the ball, a lead of 13. A week ago tonight at about this juncture in the game, Long Island trailed at Texas Christian by 25. They then scored 41 of the next 55 points of the game and took the lead and held it until the final 2 minutes. So even though the Hawkeyes have a lead, Long Island is certainly a team that you cannot relax against.
Gee, there's a foul.
Bowen tries to come across the lane. With a foul, Parker, his 3rd. So now each team has 2 players with 3 fouls. Parker and Rivera for Long Island, and Oliver and Moore for Iowa. Ryan Bowen on his 14th career double-double, and as Mac mentioned, he had that at halftime. Oliver replaces Lursman.
Yeah, here we go. One time. One. Wait up too late.
Bowen knocks down his 16th point, and the Hawkeyes have a 53-39 lead as J.R. Koch spells Ryan Bowen.
Iowa trying to take that lead and extend it, as you said, but against Long Island, they have the athletes, and they'll definitely get up the shots. They can take care of a double-digit lead very quickly.
Jones over McCausland. Moore keeps it alive, but a push is spotted. And I think they caught Daryl Moore. And it is Daryl Moore with the foul, and that is his fourth. So Moore with 4 fouls and still 15:58 to play. And Ricky Davis about to come in. We have a timeout. 15:58 left. The Hawkeyes and Long Island in quite a battle. 53-36. Next weekend, it's the Super Chevy Shootout, and a great part of that, Tom Davis puts together the Iowa Basketball Coaches Clinic. It's for boys and girls high school coaches around the state, and what a lineup of coaches.
Ooh, you got the alley-oop on the inbound. Yeah, you talked about the coaches. Pete Newell, one of the really great all-time coaches. Of course, Tom Davis. And that'll be Iowa ball.
Ed Hansen out of Solon High, one of the all-time legendary coaches. And, of course, Jim Phelan, the all-time winningest coach. And they're all available for high school coaches around the state and junior high coaches. So call the Iowa basketball office this week. Find out how you can get involved because there is still time.
Coming out, putting on pressure. And again, Iowa looking, it looks like Long Island is in a zone, but they attack the zone. They come right over to the ball.
Morgenstern on the steal, and here come the Blackbirds, who've had a tough time getting the ball to go down this half. Morgenstern wants to finish, but J.R. Koch is on his back, and Koch with his 3rd foul, and this may become a game of attrition. Well, Long Island's offense has really dried up, Mac. They just are not getting the ball in the bucket.
1 for 10 in the start of the second half, and Iowa jumped out 5 for 6.
And that's why Iowa's been able to stretch a 6-point halftime lead into a 14-point margin. And the free throw line continues to be double the Blackbirds.
Well, Morgenstern is maybe a player you would look at and say he's a project player. Coach Haskins had a great line today. He says, I told my assistants, if they keep bringing me project players, that's where we're going to be living.
Good line indeed. Morgenstern misses the pair, and here come the Hawkeyes up by 14. Davis wants to move. And the rebound ripped down by Long Island's Isaiah Francis.
Just careless ball handling. And it looked like it went off the back of an Iowa player. Just trying to retreat. And again, Iowa's done a good job of transition defense. Getting back, making sure Long Island doesn't have numbers. And they've done a good job then coming out on the perimeter to make the Long Island players take perimeter shots, not penetrating, driving shots.
The frightening thing about Long Island being 1 out of 10 is they can just as easily turn around and be 10 out of 10. They've got that much offensive skill, but they're now 1 of 11 to start the half. Lursman and Oliver together along the back line for Iowa. Davis and Koch up front with Rucker in the middle. Oliver to the glass.
Good high post pick, and then a little lean in by Dean Oliver.
Hawks lead grows to 16. And Long Island can't buy a shot, and they're only getting 1.
Well, they're one and done. They just have no offensive rebounders at all.
Lursman out of the corner. Ahead, Jones. And now it is Campbell on the finish. Mike Campbell quietly in double figures with 11 for Long Island.
Again, Iowa doing a good job. Lursman and Oliver that time they spread the guards wide, so Long Island could not look to double team.
Koch's foul.
And you heard the slap.
With the foul, Charles Jones, his 2nd foul. Team fouls now. That will be the 2nd against Long Island in the half, and Iowa with 4. Both teams were in the bonus fairly early in the first half. Hawkeyes entering a busy stretch. 4 games in the next 8 days or so.
Yeah, it's really 4 games in 7 days if you actually count the fact that this game is going to be over with here. That one Tuesday and 2 of them next week on Friday and Saturday. Iowa just not sharp in moving that basketball on the perimeter, but you got to recognize they're taking away the perimeter, so you have to drive it down the lane or you dump it down inside either Bowen or Koch that are in there now.
Campbell comes in. Morgenstern checks out. Hawkeyes lead it 55-41. Davis in and out and right back in. And for Ricky Davis, his first bucket is 6 points.
And that's a good job by Ryan Bowen, who did the dribble penetration we just talked about. 3 Hawkeyes going up to the glass. Iowa now just trying to set up. They know they can go inside.
Good look for J.R. Koch. He'll take it right back to the middle now. We talked about his improved strength, Mac, and you're seeing it really come to play there.
Well, the patience. And you heard a couple of the Iowa players say, we're all right, we don't have to rush it. It was to get the ball inside.
And for Jones, a half of frustration. Last year's scoring leader in the country shut out in the first 7 minutes of the second half. Koch on the jam.
Bowen and Koch. The ivory towers right now going to work.
A 20-point Iowa lead. And Ray Haskins will call a timeout. Timeout called by Long Island with 12:07 to play. A 20-second timeout as the Hawkeyes have a 6-point run underway. And you talked about the big guys inside, Mac.
Luersman had 2 choices. McCausland on the left, Bowen on the right, and you had Koch beating the trailer, seeing if that ball would miss, what angle it come off. Drawn up, textbook fast break.
And again tonight, we're seeing the unselfishness and the balance that is a hallmark of the Hawkeye offense.
And again, Long Island has hit another streak of 1 out of their last 10.
Matt Pishinik to inbound, his first action of the second half.
Iowa's really stayed man-to-man. They've really impressed me this year. Like, I've spent a lot of time on their man-to-man defense and being very efficient with it. Players may get some shots, but they don't get easy shots. You could call that a shot. It's not a very easy one and not a good one.
Not at all. And an intentional foul has been called. Dean Oliver got knocked down that time. An intentional foul rule. Let's get another look at it. Dean Oliver just gets knocked to the deck.
And you'll look and you'll see Oliver and Jones tangled up. And you see him, and again, Jones gives a little elbow. And so called an intentional foul.
So it's the 4th foul on Jones. Iowa gets the free throws and the possession, leading by 20. And for Dean Oliver, 5 points tonight. And Charles Jones, not a very happy guy right now.
Well, when you're an offensive player and you've got 4 fouls, takes away some of the things you want to do.
It'll be Iowa basketball when play resumes, and the Hawks lead by 22. You're watching Big Ten basketball from ESPN+. The Hawkeyes have the ball. They have a 22-point lead. Let's take a look at our Norwest quick stat.
And Iowa in the second half, 9 of 13. You look at offensive rebounds, and Bowen, 16 points, 14 rebounds. Again, Long Island coming with the pressure.
Oliver avoids the trap. Hawkeyes trying to push their record to 3-0. There are teams that were both in the Final 64 last year. Oliver caught on the travel. The turnover gives it to Long Island. An amazing story. Charles Jones so far shut out in the second half, which is now 8.5 minutes deep. And when you look at this Iowa defense tonight, so many different players have had a piece of that.
Well, and this defense is a true team defense. They shade, they take things away from you a little bit. They don't let you get what you want. They make you go to your second option. And that's really a good test of a team defense. Not letting the offensive player get what he wants. You make him go to their second or third best option.
Rivera comes on and leaving the lineup, Pishinik, and right now Jones with those 4 fouls on the Long Island bench. Quick move by Parker to the hole. That's why they think a lot of him, because he's got that great quickness. Hasn't shown it tonight, though.
Quick, strong move, but Iowa has, again, shaded him a little bit. And what he's got to do is be a better outside shooter to go with his slashing quickness to the inside.
Rucker on the putback.
A good tip rebound. We'll maybe get a chance to take a look at that later. Sometimes, again, like we said, we talk about little things. It may not go in the stats, but it helps your teammates. We're talking the help defense. You make people take outside shots all night long, you're not going to win many games. Ryan
Bowen has the rebound. That is his 15th rebound. His career high 18. McCausland fouled by Francis. Let's go back to that tip rebound we were talking about a moment ago, man.
See, when the ball goes up and you can't get to it, Kent McCausland just tips that over to Guy Rucker. Bowen still has the inside position in case Guy would miss it, but it also, that block out by Bowen gives Guy Rucker a little lane where he can go up and he knows nobody can get to him. That was a good job by the Hawkeyes on their inside game.
Trying to wheel for the hook. Bowen. Rebound recovered by Oliver, and he puts it down. 8 for Oliver, 6 of them in the second half, and the Hawkeyes have a 24-point lead, their biggest of the game. And Mac, here is a Long Island squad as Rivera hits the 3 that is averaging 118 points a game. They don't have 50 yet.
Yeah. Again, it goes back to the defense and the patience at the offense. They're also, and going to call him Dean for something, and I don't know if it's going to be travel or out of bounds. They just said it's a turnover, but haven't given a signal as to what the call is.
I think he stepped out of bounds. Yeah. Now Tom Davis is asking for an explanation.
He's saying he got bodied over there.
(67-46) Iowa. In the lane, Parker. And Parker will go to the free throw line.
You know, in both halves, Long Island tried to have a big man in there, and they just go a couple, 3 minutes, and then they're back to really 5 perimeter players.
Yeah, Ray Haskins really concerned about the big guys. He says, we've got the guards that compete with anybody, but the big guys, been another story. And foul on J.R. Koch, his 4th, so now he's got 4, Moore's got 4. And Richie Parker hits the free throw. Again, Richie Parker, quite a story. Greg Helmers makes his first appearance in the ball game. He replaces J.R. Helmers did not play in the first half. Go back to his freshman year. His point and rebounding individual high came against Long Island. That was a game that Iowa won handily, 102-72 back in '94.
You could see Richie Parker was not shooting that ball well. A good penetration by Ricky Davis, but Richie Parker did not shoot those free throws with rotation. That's what he's really got to work on.
Rivera for 3. Parker tries to put it back up and scores. And now Parker heating up a bit.
That's where he's been effective, inside there.
He's got 7 points, 5 of them in the second half, and really all within this last couple of minutes. With the foul for Long Island, Isaiah Francis, and that's his 4th foul. Now Jones back in the lineup after getting that intentional foul. Ray Haskins brought him to the bench. That was his 4th foul, but now with 9:07 to play and his team down by 20, he will come in and try to provide some instant offense. Jones fouled, rather Davis fouled by Anderson, and Anderson with his 3rd foul. And that will be the 7th called on Long Island. So the Hawkeyes are in the bonus, the final 9:02 of regulation.
Team foul number 7.
Ricky Davis with 8 points, including 5 out of 6 from the free throw line.
Wait out, you release. Straight in, wait out, it's gone. 1.
Don't be a bit surprised Jones starts getting the ball just every time down court. See if he can get Long Island to cut into this lead. Well, how's that? There's Jones.
Yeah. He was there.
Can he keep up with the Jones? I don't know.
Well, the Hawkeyes have done a good job of doing that tonight. Rucker going for the block on Parker. And Rucker picking up the personal.
And Jones goes up high, just 6'1" or 6'2", but misses the dunk. And then Guy Rucker called for the foul. Thought he had all ball.
Tom Rucker calling the foul on Guy Rucker. Believe it or not, I had a fan ask me one time if they were not in fact father and son. No, they are not at all related.
Richie Parker, shooting 2.
At the line, Richie Parker. Parker, whose career began when he signed with Seton Hall, then had the off-the-court legal problems and really had to sit out more or less 2 years. Trying to come back now. Coslin and Bowen replace Rucker and Luersman. Parker last year was the Northeast Conference Newcomer of the Year, so he really, after those 2 years off, came back and played well, showing about the natural skills that he has. Iowa by 20. And Long Island going for the steal, and we have a held ball, and the possession arrow will give it to the Hawkeyes. Next action for Iowa, Tuesday night, the start of the interstate confrontations, as Drake will come here to Carver-Hawkeye Arena. We'll have it for you beginning at 7 o'clock.
Yeah, that one that's already been done, UNI at Iowa State. Some people may think it was a bit of a surprise.
Offensive foul, Oliver, and he will be assessed his 4th foul.
And the fans and Iowa coaches kind of shake their heads with that call. So does Dino.
So Koch, Oliver, and Moore, 4 fouls apiece for Iowa. And now the depth that Tom Davis has developed in the exhibition season and in the first 2 games of the regular season really comes into play. Parker, that quick move to the hole. And Helmers with a rebound. Off the baseline, it's Davis. And the ball belongs to Iowa. Well, we told you that Big Ten teams playing all over the country. Let's take a look at some final scores. Michigan State survives a tough one.
Yeah, they get Gonzaga, and of course Gonzaga beat Clemson earlier.
Good win for Penn State against North Carolina State.
Yep. And now you just play catch and wait for the lane inside.
Good recovery by Bowen. 18 for Bowen. Open in the corner is Campbell, and he nails the 3, and Mike Campbell has hit his 3rd 3 in this ballgame. He has 14 points for Long Island. And the Blackbirds have a break. 3-on-2. Jones wants to finish. Campbell couldn't finish, and Bowen rebounds. 17 rebounds for Ryan Bowen to go along with his 18 points. What a night. Intentional foul. The 2nd intentional foul of the night against the Long Island Blackbirds.
Penetration. And out to the wing. Bowen gives it up. And then, I'll tell you, he went for the ball, and it looks like that was probably okay. And then he kind of just grabbed his waist, threw him out of the way. That was the intentional part.
It's the wraparound, right? When you do that, that's automatic.
I mean, you're just grabbing. You know, you're not even going for the ball then.
Ricky Davis, who's been very productive on the foul line, is right back there again. Well, I shouldn't have said it there, I suppose.
I'm not going to do that stuff anymore.
He had it 7 out of 8. Davis now with 12 points. The Hawkeyes lead it by 20 at 74-54. Big story this game, though, has been that guy, number 42, Bowen, with 17 rebounds with 18 points. Matt McCausland back at Carver-Hawkeye Arena, where Iowa has opened a lead of 20.
Iowa's done a good job of being able to attack offensively, This time Ryan Luersman, though, he gets into the free throw line right here in this area. He's got Kim McCausland on his left and Ricky Davis on the right, where he can make a good choice. Now he takes it too far into the defenders. Now he has to go into the air and commit and gets a turnover.
Parker comes up with a steal. Jones looking for his first second half points. 17 in the first half. Those were the first 2 of the second half for Charles Jones. Rucker faces the basket. Oh, what a night by Ryan Bowen, Max. Just amazing, isn't it?
He has been phenomenally active just everywhere out there in terms of offense, defense.
That's why he has that well-deserved national reputation as a guy that virtually any coach in the country would love to have play for him.
And a reach by Moore, and I think he can wrap up his Thanksgiving seat.
Yes, he can. Moore fouls out with 6:29 to go. A total of 6 points. But the story tonight, and there are many, and certainly the Iowa defense is a big one, but Ryan Bowen has really keyed the attack tonight on both ends of the floor.
Yeah, maybe his best overall game, especially when you consider how much effort it takes to play against a Long Island who is pressuring you defensively and then also offensively. He is able to still have that quickness. And right now, Iowa has 4 players on the court, and they're trying to figure out who's going to be the 5th.
You know, just looking at Ryan Bowen. Does he look tired, Mac? He looks like he could go another ball game. Well, maybe a little winded, but not much. He's just been everywhere tonight. Let's see, J.R. Koch is sitting at the scorer's table, and the Hawkeyes do have 5 in the lineup. And to the free throw line, Mike Campbell. Campbell really a good player, but he gets overshadowed by Parker and by Jones. But he was an all-conference first-teamer last year at the Northeast Conference, and he has 15 points in this one.
And they've been a quiet 15.
Yeah, they have been. Last year he was 3rd in the conference in scoring, 5th in rebounding. And again, just kind of the 3rd option on this ball club. Davis with his 5th rebound as the Hawks come up the floor. Brisbane gets around Francis. McCausland lets it fly. And 13 for McCausland. That's a season high.
Again, you just wait for the defense to overcommit and find the gaps, the openings. Good double team there by Bowen and Luersman, and a 22nd.
Luersman had control. He called the 20. He gets it. Ray Heston says, I don't know if that was that way or not, but that's the call with 5:54 to play. It's Iowa basketball when play resumes. And the Hawkeyes tonight, Mac, again, I think you have to really underscore the defensive effort as well as the offensive effort.
And the defensive part that I like, again, was the stopping the transition. Very seldom did you have Long Island come back and have many opportunities where it was 3-on-1 or 2-on-1 or 4-on-2. Iowa got back, made them set up in their half court, and they didn't like it. And Long Island taken out of their game of running up and down and shooting the threes.
Hope you'll join us again on Tuesday night when the Hawkeyes return to action against the Drake Bulldogs. That for Iowa, the start of intra-state play. And that game will be on the air at 7 o'clock. Kurt Kanaski's Bulldogs, tough year in his first year last year. Look to be somewhat improved this year.
I think the ball hit the back of the backboard. Kent throwing it in, gets the turnover. Got to make sure you can get the ball to your outlet man.
For Ryan Bowen, that is rebound number 18. It equals his point total. And that equals a career high. He had 18 rebounds against LaSalle last year. Koch gets the roll.
And Koch stronger this year. Had a good game his last time out. He may be a real key for how successful Iowa is going to be later on in the Big Ten season. Inside position, Koch strong with the ball, puts it back up, gets a little touch and roll.
You know, he's made 3 plays tonight, Mac. That would be the 3rd that I think that last year he could not have done because he wasn't strong enough to do it.
I'd agree with you. Just more confidence. You know, once again, knowing the system and knowing what you have to do in order to play at this level, and he's been perfect tonight.
Davis on the slam. 14 for Ricky Davis. And the Hawkeyes are now running away from Long Island. Parker. Bowen in his face. Bowen on the foul, and count the bucket by Parker. So we've come to the 5:07 mark, and the Hawkeyes have really started to break this one wide apart.
Breakout by Iowa, Davis and Bowen, and Ryan giving it back up. An assist, and the athleticism and the hops by Davis to finish it.
Parker now with 11. He's really been the offense. He and Campbell have been virtually all the offense that Long Island has mounted in the second half. Only 2 other players have scored.
Louis a little trouble with the ball, but got it. And again, Koch inside. Another finish.
That was a good catch.
Very good catch. Again, you talked about he's doing some things. He's catching in traffic and scoring in traffic. Something he had trouble with last year.
Rims out for Anderson. Bowen has his 19th rebound, a career high for him. 19 rebounds.
He is going to be tired. I think he's tired now.
I think it's understandable.
Yeah.
The record for rebounds in this building, Dwayne Schulten of Washington State back in 1986, he grabbed 18. Bowen has the Carver-Hawkeye Arena record for a Hawkeye with his 19 rebound performance tonight.
And what's the arena record?
21.
21, okay.
Thursman to the line after the foul on Francis, and Francis has fouled out with 4:35 remaining. He fouled out with 4 points.
And Louis had trouble at the line.
He's just 1 out of 5 from the line. Now Ryan Bowen, well-deserved rest. What a night.
You know this is going up.
Yeah. But they're not going down in the second half for Charles Jones. It's Long Island ball, knocked out by Davis. Here's Oliver replacing Lursman. From the corner it is put down by Mike Campbell. Campbell now with 18 points. That was his 4th tray. Koch. Knew he had to hurry. And inbounding will be McCausland.
Well, you see that double team. The minute you get over half court, Long Island's eyes just light up as Koch just continues to knock it down.
The JR Jam Festival. As Tom Davis builds his team for the start of conference play, I have to think this was a big game tonight because it's a chance to play an interesting style and you really stand up against it and do well.
Well, the 2 things that you see out of Long Island is the pressure defense and a lot of trapping, and Iowa's youngsters needed to see that and understand how to react to it, and then also the pressure of attacking on offense, being able to get back. And Iowa, when you look at some of the veterans, J.R. Koch being patient, the offensive end, he's been 7 for 7.
9 for Oliver. And Ryan Bowen will come in trying to set some personal numbers now. He already has a rebound personal best of 19. His point total best is 20 on 2 different occasions. He's got 18. Koch with the offensive rebound.
It continues.
18 for JR. That equals his season high. Got that against North Texas. He's got 6 rebounds. Now, go back to what you said a moment ago. Why you thought he might be a key factor in the Big Ten race.
I think he adds great flexibility in terms he is an inside player by size at 6'9" or 6'10" and can score inside. A good free throw shooter and an excellent three-point shooter. So you've got to go out and guard him. And he's added that one dribble where he can take the ball inside. He's a difficult matchup for most teams.
Iowa leads big. You're watching Big Ten basketball from ESPN+.
And you see a blockout situation right at the free throw line. The man is able to go in on the shooter, gets the rebound. Now inside fundamental breakdown by Long Island. They don't block out Koch. You've got to take care of basic fundamentals every time on the free throw line. Block out the shooter and block out the inside rebounders.
Davis with the block as we go back to action, and then a foul is called on Parker out of the backcourt. So Parker picks up his 4th, and he sends Iowa to the line with 3:29 to play, and the Hawkeyes leading at 89-63. In 2 starts, the Hawkeyes have exceeded 100 points both times, 105 against Chicago State, 112 against North Texas. And they're trying to do that again. Well, we talked about the game, about the Sporting News and their college basketball preview issue, talked about 5 players to watch and mentioned 2 playing in this game tonight, and here's what they've done.
Well, Jones certainly was taken out of his game by good Iowa defense, and then he had foul problems. Kim McCausland working on part of the game that he's talked about is adding that 2-point shot rather than just being a 3-point perimeter shooter.
Here is a Long Island team that got 95 points in losing at Purdue, got 95 points in losing at Texas Christian. They've got 63 so far tonight. And Bowen has equaled a career high in points with his 20th.
And it shows you what Iowa is trying to do defensively. And that is be able to... He's going to have a timeout.
Jones just scores his 21st point. And Long Island will use the timeout, and this will be a full one. So we've got a timeout with 2:51 to play. Hawks about to go 3-0. It is Iowa 93 and Long Island 65. Quite a performance tonight for the Iowa Hawkeyes.
And it's really been done at the defensive end. And you've seen it on the inside where Bowen and Rucker have had good scoring opportunities.
And remember to get all the inside on your favorite Big Ten team. Go online at www.big10.org for all the basketball and conference news from around the Big Ten. It is an exciting website. You will really enjoy checking it out. Iowa with 5 players in double figures. Bowen leading the way with 20. Koch has got 18. McCausland 13, Davis 14, Oliver 11. And the Blackbirds guilty of a foul. Long Island, a school with rich basketball tradition going back to the coach with the all-time highest winning percentage, Claire B. And a storied basketball past. And they're trying to rewrite some new chapters, and with this high-scoring unit, they will. Dozen for Oliver. And now some gray team members get a chance to play. Kerry Coburn comes in wearing number 34. He's the senior out of Carroll. Scott Rabinold, number 35, senior out of Montezuma. They check in. Kyle Galloway back in. He, of course, played earlier.
Long Island is trying to make a name for itself, certainly by beating St. John's last year. It caught the attention of the people in New York City. And it gives Coach Haskins an opportunity to recruit and get some of the better players in the famed city that just never sleeps.
Just sing a little chorus of New York, New York, or can we go on?
We could do New York, New York. We could do Bye-Bye Blackbird now that
you could have done that.
points.
You could have done that a couple of minutes ago, actually. Here's a team that averages 118 points, that has not scored less than 95 points in a ball game, and they may not get to 70. That talks about what Iowa has done at the defensive end of the floor. Jason Bowers, good to see him back on the floor. Of course, he suffered a broken bone on his right hand preseason practice. Jason's his name. That's what Mom and Dad call him. Of course, his teammates call him Eddie after the clothing store. Rivera will crank her up, and Galloway with a rebound. Can't hang on, so the Blackbirds have it with 2:03 to play.
And the Iowa players in there offensively moved the ball very well. Went from corner to corner with it. And trying to, once again, get a scoring opportunity. Bauer had trouble in the first half, and we talked about it because of that wrap on his hand. Be difficult for some ball handling.
Koberg on the miss. You know, I know Tom Davis, and as with most coaches, rarely get grades an A on things, but I would have to think on execution of game plan that Iowa might be in the A range tonight.
Game plan, they were awfully successful.
Galloway with a miss. All the way, Kerry Anderson. Anderson will get the bucket and will go to the free throw line. Anderson comes in averaging 9. That is just his 4th point, as the point guards for the Blackbirds never really got on track tonight. Marcelo Gomez comes on, as does B.J. Toronis. Toronis number 53 and Gomez number 51.
This has to be one of the longest games for a regulation game.
Let's see if we can renegotiate, get paid by the minute. A minute 20 to go. Koberg picking up the personal. Busy week for Drake next week as you look down the Long Island bench. They have come out to the Midwest and seen Iowa put a great defensive effort together.
Drake is...
Did I say Drake? Yeah, Long Island. Yes, Drake, the next opponent. I start to say the beginning of a busy week for the Hawkeyes, because not only do they play Drake on Tuesday, but next Friday and Saturday, the Super Chevy Shootout, Rice, St. Mary's, and Weber State join the Hawkeyes.
And for those of you that may remember, Rice has Bobby Crawford, who played at Michigan a couple years ago and then transferred back to Texas. That was his home state. Wasn't getting the playing time at Michigan.
B.J. Toronis on the line for the Hawkeyes, and the junior from Gilbert hits his first point of the game. And the Hawkeyes are once again knocking on the door of 100.
B.J., some people call him the little guy. He's more like the knee-high guy.
At the half, Iowa led by 6. Long Island. So Iowa scored the first 6 points of the second half, and Iowa just really has dominated this second half of play. Big Kerry Koberg clears the rebound. Needs some help. And he got it from Ed Hightower, as he was chopped across the arm, and the official came in and whistles the foul on Rivera. And Ray Rivera has fouled out here in the game's final minute.
Kerry got that get-out-of-jail-free card.
Mac, Hawkeyes have done a lot of things well tonight.
Yeah, you know, when you talked earlier about grading the team, when you go back to just, not specifics, but what they wanted to do in terms of stopping LIU's running game and handle the pressure, certainly they're going to have to be graded rather high. And Long Island in the second half, 10 for 40. You know, it was amazing. You look at their stats. They were used to putting up 100 shots a game. And most teams in college basketball they'll be around 60 or 65. And Iowa will average maybe a little closer towards 70 because of their up-tempo game, but most teams will be at 60. And Long Island, 100 shots a game.
And Charles Jones, who last year led the country averaging 30, has 21 points in this one. And that's what he's going to wind up with because he's not playing here in the final minute.
And Long Island, maybe playing keep away so Iowa doesn't get 100 points. And they're going to have a chance now. Iowa's at 98. They've scored 100 in each of their first 2 games.
And we are down to the final half minute. The block from behind by Anderson. 27 seconds left, and the Iowa Hawkeyes will take a 3-0 record into their Tuesday night date with Drake. Long Island's record falls to 2-3, and they have to face another top 25 team. In their next action, they're going to go to the Ball State tournament and play Mississippi. Hawkeyes looking for 100. Or 101 if that one goes down.
And Ravenhold. And that's so appropriate because Scott Ravenhold really mimicked Charles Jones for the scout team today. And he got to shoot and practice those threes. And he got the reward with that 3.
So the Hawkeyes over 100 points in all 3 games. And they hold a Long Island team that had scored no less than 95 points a game to 69. Iowa wins it 101-69. And Mac, the Hawks take another big step.
Well, as you look at the 2 coaches talking, both of them have some things still to work on. But the Iowa team, as you said, certainly took a big step in terms of their defense. And Ryan Bowen, one of their leaders, a great game.
Bowen, 20 points and 19 rebounds to lead the Hawkeyes, who are now 3-0. Our next telecast will be on Tuesday night. It's Iowa against Drake at 7 o'clock. Again, tonight's final, Iowa 101, Long Island 69.